What's up, guys? I hope everybody's doing good today. We are going on a garden tour this morning. I'm going to show you what all my beautiful plants look like. Most of them are in bloom, all my spring bloomers. So come with me and let me take you on a little tour. Now this is the front of the house. Mostly it's sunshade, gets shade in the morning. So I have my little lime hydrangeas there, all leafed up. Don't notice any real buds on them yet, but they're coming. And what I do is I put pots here in between the shrubbery so that I can change them out with the seasons. So this will be my summer pots here. I got some sun-loving coleus, some marigolds, and some stock in the little pots on the end. And I have a little bit of fountain grass back there with some coleus on the side. Now this low hedge here is a boxwood hedge that's about 3 years old. And notice I haven't really trimmed it, but I just kind of like the way that it looks kind of airy. May trim it in the fall, but for now I'm gonna leave it like that for the summer. I have these boxes here with I put some kale in there of all things because I just like the leaf. I like the leaf structure of the kale. I got some lantana there, some verbena, some Gerber daisy, and some coleus with some more fountain grass in the back. And this is the same pot with the marigolds, the stock, and the coleus. So that's how the front looks. So once it grows up, you see, you can see that the pots kind of peek up from behind. So I have the pots back there kind of elevated on some brick. And in the fall, I will change those pots out and put some mums or some sort of a fall plant. Now this up here is my window box that I had made a few weeks ago. Now, if you notice, the creeping Jenny has really taken off and is doing what she does best. I got the geraniums there and the lobelia, and then my proven winners, raspberry rush, I think it was called. That's starting to pick up. The other one over here. And I still have my little viola plant back there, still hanging on. This is the third basket here. It's doing well. Creeping Jenny's really taking off there. And we got the star of the show in the front garden. And this is my little Rhodo. She gave me a lot of trouble. So this is the side of the shade garden. It's on the side of the house. I call it the shade garden. It does get some sun, but mostly shade. So I have my trio of hostas here, various shades of green, which I love the different contrasts, especially with the pop of white in the front one here. And I planted a little viola here that just peeks out from under the leaf, looking nice. I have a bugbane here that's putting on a lot of new growth. Various annuals that I've kind of put here for color, some coleus and the shade impatient. And peeking around the back there, I have divided some black-eyed Susan and popped one there. So hopefully that'll grow up and give me a little color there. Now in the front of this garden, we have some Japanese fern here. I love the soft foliage, gives a nice contrast of color in front of this nice yellow variegated euonymus. Now here, can't forget this beauty here. This is my hydrangea, my macrophylla hydrangea. Looking really good. I managed not to kill it this year, and I waited to prune it to make sure that I didn't prune the old wood. So hopefully I will get some blooms this year. Now, how could I forget this beauty? This is a Japanese purus. This foliage here will change to a nice red tone in the fall. So here we got a lot of different shades of green with these little hints of color popping through. Have some plants here I need to plant up. These are some vegetables I gotta bring over to Mom's to plant up. And here is my beautiful bleeding heart that I did cut all the way back after its first bloom. So what you're seeing here is a second flush of blooms, flanked by some hostas with some violas and some coleus kind of popped in throughout. Here I have some daylilies just putting on some buds, and I have a new clematis here that's just blooming. I believe this is my Jack Manny clematis. And I have a sweet little planter here that's planted just outside the gate with some creeping jenny, some alyssum, and 2 different types of coleus. And that is the side garden. As we continue through the gate, the garden continues on the side here. Now it is mostly shade, but we do get some sun here as well. So we have another euonymus there. This is a little darker green. Beautiful, healthy hosta. This is another rhodo here, another rhododendron that's finished blooming. Blooms a lovely pink, but as you can tell from the foliage, it's nice and healthy. I have coral bells here, and I planted a lot of different mixture of annuals and perennials here. I've got some wave petunias, got some coral bells here, some coleus. This is an English daisy, and I believe this is a new plant. So this is a Caroligara. This is a proven winner's plant. I just love the way that it looks kind of free-flowing. I have some Artemisia there, that lovely blue foliage. Hopefully, this is its first year, so hopefully it'll put on some mounding growth. Got my phlox that's spreading here, a spirea, more phlox along here, and bee balm. And this, I believe it's called bellflower. It's sold as an annual, but to my surprise, it actually bounced back and grew back. That is bee balm, so that'll grow up, give some nice red flowers. Coleus there. And another spirea. And I have a beautiful rose here that's in bloom. And got some beautiful pink blooms. Now this is a liatris plant. This is its first year that I put it right there, and it's put on a lot of growth. This is my bloomerang lilac plant that has bloomed once already, and it's flushing on some new growth, so I will prune this in the weeks to come, and it will give another bloom for the season of beautiful smelling lilacs. And I got my limelight hydrangea right beside, leafed up nicely. And as we go down the line, we have some stargazer lilies that are in all their beautiful glory. And I have some daylilies here, some Stella d'Orio, full of buds just waiting to put on their show. Now this is my lavender plant that I had cut all the way back, just about ready to open up. Go down the line here. We have our Stella, some dahlias, and some Artemisia. Got some more dahlias and some violas. Looks like we have our first lily showing her face. There we go. Now, here are some of the cannas that I had started, along with some foxgloves that I just planted this year. Not sure if we're going to get blooms, as these are biennials. Now, they do have a certain variety that will bloom the first year, but I'm not sure if these are it. Got some coreopsis there. And some salvia. I love that salvia. It's mostly yellows here. Need some deadheading on that dahlia there. Go. I believe this is a purple coneflower here, looking so lovely and lush. And this is the dahlia that I had started from inside, way back in early March, along with these lilies I started early. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Full bloom here. This is the peony that finally bloomed after 3 years. Just finishing up though. And I don't remember what these plants are called, but they've been here for about 3 years. Another dahlia back there. Now this is our rose garden. Lots of buds on here. Now I've already had a little trouble with caterpillars on this rose. And I did spray, and that seemed to get rid of most of them. But if you notice, we have a little visitor here this morning. Yeah, gotta put some more sprays. We have to get rid of those. Beautiful pink flowers on there. And this is my princess rose. Look at the blooms on this one. This is a floribunda. I believe this was I thought it might have been a tea, but it has grown so much this season. And I got my Dr. Rupel clematis on the trellis in the back there. Now, look at this show. I have my dianthus. That's an obedient plant, I believe it's called. I have some gaillardia, a lot of phlox and sedums in here. I transplanted a little piece of a rudbeckia that's back there that's starting to bush up. I have some vivants, some speedwell, some geraniums and yuccas back there. Another sedum. Everybody in there coming back to life. Beautiful. Now this is an astilbe that's just starting to put out some buds. Now this area does get some afternoon sun, but mostly morning shade here. All these sedums here, healthy and lovely. Now, look at this purple blaze climbing rose. It has buds for days, and I mean, before the Japanese beetles come, this is putting on a great show. We got a beautiful pop of color from this spirea here. A little coreopsis there. And these lilies that have really put on some growth, I've really had to thin them back because they were kind of overtaking this area. I have some wave petunias here and some marigolds for a pop of color. My boomerang lilac that has done its first bloom. Now it will bloom again this season. Just have to trim it back a little bit. Got my little hydrangea there. That's my limelight. There's two of them back here. That's another one. Putting on some lovely growth. I have a little boxwood here. I just popped in here just for a little structure. My iris just finishing blooming. Now some people consider this little plant here with the little fine daisies to be a weed, but I just like the way it looks with the yellow iris and the yellow centers of the little daisies. Just put some coleus back here, and this is where I planted my wisteria, so hopefully it will grow up onto the fence and give me some wonderful blooms. And this is the window basket that's by the shed with, of course, my favorite spiller, the creeping Jenny, and some marigolds. This is in mostly shade, but it will get a lot of evening sun, so hopefully that'll be enough for the marigolds. And in this little corner, I have a mandevilla vine that was a bit of a rescue from a garden center because it was quite damaged. And I put it here. It does get some evening sun or afternoon sun. And as you can see, it's putting on a lot of new growth here. I've just been kind of rehabbing it. So hopefully I will get some blooms from this baby. Of course, the expanse of lawn that Nino's been working on just looks amazing right now. Green, lush, and healthy. Now we're gonna head over to a little area that I like to call the beach. Now over in the beach, we have all of the pots with the vegetables. So you have Nino's tomato plants, the basil. I have some gladiolas back there. I'm not too sure if they're going to bloom. They were a bit of a mess, and I just kind of staked them up and put them in the corner there. We'll see what happens. So this is the extent of the vegetable garden in the beach. And here are the planters that I potted up last week. Gets pretty hot here in the afternoon over on the beach. So here on the patio, we do have the second mandevilla plant here. This is another one that's rehabbing. Seems to be pushing some new growth. So maybe we might get some flowers out of her. But she was quite damaged. But I'm very encouraged at all the new growth that's pushing through. And along the fence here, we have some hanging baskets with some lantana, some wave petunias, and some, what was this called again? Some Silver Falls dichondra, that's it. And I just love the way that that looks once it's really filled out and spills over the planters. So I got 3 of those here along the fence, just adding some color. Back onto the patio here, I have this beautiful yellow lily in full bloom here. Just gorgeous color, that soft yellow. And lots of buds on here. This is one of them that I started early, so I'm getting some early blooms on these. I started these inside. Now on this little planter, I managed to find some potato vine, which for some reason was pretty scarce here in Toronto. Wasn't able to find too many of these. I put some kale here. Hopefully this will bush up and make the planter look lush. And some diamond frost euphorbia in here. Love that plant with a little bit of lobelia as a pop of color. And in the planter on the bottom, just full of different varieties of coleus there. Those will get quite big. Now I have my little sago palm getting some sun. And in this planter here, I have some cannas, some sun-loving begonias there, some more euphorbia, a dahlia, and a beautiful lime green potato vine. And of course, with some vinca vine there as a spiller and some stalk. So hopefully, when this grows up, this will give us some nice show. A lot of buds on that dahlia plant there. And my beautiful calla lily here putting on a wonderful show. My tour for this morning. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I hope your garden is growing as well as mine this year. Drop me a line in the comments. Let me know how your gardens are growing. If you have any tips or suggestions of how I can make this space better, or any tips that you use in your garden, I certainly welcome them. Let's learn together. So for now, bye guys.